A new month and possibly a clean slate to get things going. It's June 1, and that also means that internationally we are observing Global Day of Parents. Today is set aside to underscore the crucial role parents play in raising children, while reinforcing the idea that the family is primarily responsible for nurturing and safeguarding the future. As we follow suit, today's Jamaica Magazine features parents who are seeking to make the best impact in the lives of their children. If as a parent you don't know where to start, we have some help. The details of today's package unfold right now. I'm Adrian Atkinson. Welcome.
Lowering the sodium content in children's diets today can help prevent heart disease later in their life, especially for those who are overweight. Shake the salt habit. Shop smart and cook smart. Use less or no salt when cooking. Try using fresh herbs and seasonings to add more flavor. Limit the consumption of salty snacks. Take the time to carefully read the nutrition labels on food products to identify those high in salt and choose the healthier options. Remember, no more than 2 grams of salt per day from all food sources for children under 11 years of age.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Wednesday, June 1. Operators of medium-sized enterprises with innovative products and services can now access up to $20 million in grant funding to take their businesses to the next level. The Development Bank of Jamaica, DBJ, is now accepting applications for its Innovation Grant Fund, IGF, until June 30. Applicants who meet the requirements will move on to Stage 2 of the process, where they will have access to a cadre of consultants to assist with completing their business proposals. The IGF is one of the products being offered through the DBJ's Boosting Innovation, Growth and Entrepreneurship Ecosystems Biggie project. Project Manager Chris Brown says the aim is to assist businesses develop new ideas that will lead to expansion, increased revenue and employment creation.
Jamaica is in a place where it's ripe for entrepreneurship, right? And DBJ wants businesses to consider how they can create impact not just for the country, but even their own businesses.
Mr. Brown was speaking on JIS's current affairs program, Get the Facts. The full interview will be aired this Sunday inside Jamaica Magazine. The Transport Authority is reporting that by month's end, public passenger vehicle PPV operators and owners will be one step closer to accessing their gas relief funds. The authority has released a statement saying it is in the final stages of discussions with the Finance Ministry regarding the allocation of the gas relief funds to the public land transportation sector. The authority says it is now trying to develop an effective and transparent system for PPV operators to apply for and access the gas grants. In March, Finance Minister Nigel Clark announced the provision of $25,000 in gas relief grants for PPV operators to cushion the increasing cost of fuel. The program, which will cost the state $600 million, forms part of government's overall social assistance support of $3.7 billion. $298 million will be spent this year to transform urban spaces under the Paint the City initiative. Minister of Local Government and Rural Development, Desmond McKenzie, made the disclosure recently during his contribution to the sectoral debate in Parliament. Minister McKenzie says the program will involve significant work to beautify and upgrade town centres. Among the areas to benefit are Brownstown, St. Anne, Lucy Hanover, and Harbourview in St. Andrew.
We are partnering to improve, Madam Speaker, public spaces across the country. We are spending funds, Madam Speaker, right across to transform spaces in Jamaica to give it a facelift.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness is urging Jamaicans to protect the free public Wi-Fi infrastructure being installed across the island. He says it is important to remember that it is taxpayers who will bear the cost to repair and replace damaged Wi-Fi equipment.
If you destroy things that governments provide, you are destroying your taxes. I've seen the reports that we have put up the wireless transmitters and they have either been destroyed or stolen, wasting the public's resources but depriving you of the opportunity of connecting to the internet. These equipment are very expensive. So as we make this publicly available, I make an appeal to the citizens of the area to protect the equipment and be conscious of its value to you and your children.
Prime Minister Holness made the call as he launched free public Wi-Fi along Olympic Way and at the Seaward Primary and Junior High School in West Central St. Andrew last week. Government is strengthening Jamaica's international aviation affairs through integral partnerships. Prime Minister Andrew Holness has launched Jamaica's candidature to Part 3 of the International Civil Aviation Organization ICAO Council for the 2022 to 2025 triennial. In his virtual address at the launch held at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, he argued that Jamaica had the competence to offer valuable support to the global aviation industry.
Another notable achievement has been Jamaica's leadership and vanguard contributions to the UN and ICAO climate change initiatives, with the country being invited to the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change's Conference of the Parties COP to showcase the progress of our airport gate electrification pilot project.
The ICAO is a recognized institution established in 1944 to promote air travel safety and provides the opportunity for the sharing of expertise to safeguard the industry. Elections will be held during the 41st ICAO Triennial Assembly in Montreal, Canada from September 27 to October 14 this year. And finally, displaced sugar workers in Clarendon can expect increased job opportunities shortly. That's due in part to expansion plans announced by National Rums of Jamaica Limited. The partly state-owned company says it will be increasing its cultivation of sugarcane that's used in its rum production. Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries Pernell Charles Jr. welcomed the news as he toured the facility recently.
It's good to see that National Rums is investing in this area. They have advised me that they are looking towards a doubling of their own cultivation of cane, which would also mean a doubling of employment.
And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
What a way you're full of our roots and culture. That was in Jamaica 60. Jamaica 60? What a piece of news, Miss Matty. I feel like my heart going bust up. Just in, the island of Jamaica is on the verge of celebrating its 60th year of independence. A whole way of celebrating it. They say the people them, you know, them come here, you know. But you see, when our people decide, say the other people them free paper, oh no, them say if it's war, start it, whatever. We all collect medal, panta fight, you know. Medal. Amount of tongue we give them, The celebrations are slated to begin on January 1st, 2022. Organized by the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport. We have more in this report. I am on site and planning activities are ablaze. Persons are advised to download the Reggae Jamaica app to know what the activities for the Jamaica 60 celebration. Yeah. Download the app to get the updates then.
While the family is a major part of social change, other groups in our nation are playing the same tune. Our first feature looks at the work the Jamaica Social Investment Fund is doing to create social change through its integrated community development projects.
A place to call home, blooming with opportunities for growth and progress. The Integrated Community Development Project ICDP, implemented by the Jamaica Social Investment Fund JSIF and funded by a loan made available by the World Bank, has laid the foundation and has put in the work to create this environment in selected economically vulnerable and socially volatile communities in Jamaica.
We've targeted 18 communities through the ICDP, and we believe that we've done a significant transformation in these communities. We engage the community-based organization. They become registered as a legal entity. They sign financing agreements to implement the projects. It allows communities and the residents to see that their leaders can be accountable, their leaders can be effective, and their leaders have the capacity to build their own future.
The ICDP has played a major role in facilitating the cleanup and beautification of community communal spaces.
Solid waste management was prioritized by the residents in the communities as one of those areas that need to be addressed in order to get true transformation of the communities. We have seen significant improvements in the cleanliness of the communities, and sustainable disposal of waste, including burning and dumping in the gullies, has decreased significantly.
Working as an environmental warden, we pick up the garbage, we store it where we're supposed to put it, and we talk to the residents in the community. Said, you must not throw the rubbish on the road. You just put them in one bag and put them at the drum that JSF provided.
The Safe Passages, Safe Routes to School initiative seeks to improve public safety by providing safe passage to approximately 5,500 student commuters who travel daily along specific routes.
When we came into the communities, we saw a number of issues. The students were walking in the street, they were competing with different cars, there were a number of accidents along the route, and so we definitely knew that we needed to do an intervention here.
It was really difficult because when cars were passing, we have to be walking over the bushes.
For the Yorktown project, approximately 450 meters of guardrails were installed, approximately 450 meters of sidewalk was actually constructed. We also had road safety signs installed along the way, pedestrian crossings. We also have murals. We also did a bus stop.
We can walk safely, the railings protect us from the cars.
The ICDP has strengthened the capacity of schools to deliver quality education and support services of the highest quality.
We made sure that we were able to provide different kinds of manipulative learning aids, books, textbooks, 3D equipment. We partnered with the Ministry of Education, particularly the core curriculum unit, to ensure that the teachers received the requisite training that they needed.
It was very good, very enlightening, and I was able to bring across that training to the subject areas that I teach.
It has helped us so much in the classroom. We have been able to practically demonstrate using the manipulatives that we have gotten from JSAFE.
A lot of our achievements, whether for literacy, numeracy, or the whole holistic development, as well as the ambience of our school, is because of JSAFE.
The ICDP also provided much-needed support to small business operators facing economic challenges through its Enterprise Development Grants.
The Enterprise Development Grant component saw funding being channeled to 170 micro-enterprises across 7 communities. And these enterprises benefited from equipment supplies. They also got business development training.
I received a stitch and serge, and I received a straight stitch, and I received a cutter. It changed my life that I can do my things on time, and I can employ more people that can make you earn more.
The story of ICDP is a story of transformation, not only in terms of the physical environment, but also some of the non-visible things like the transformation of the people and how they collaborate to produce and to contribute towards their own development.
JSAFE is an organization that comes to help poor people. You are so good to us, JSAFE. We love you, JSAFE.
All children deserve positive parenting. Why not pamper us? Be patient with us. Make time to teach us and, of course, play with us. Celebrate milestones with us and don't forget to be our #1 supporter. Do all these things and practice positive parenting today.
We now feature one parent who, through the assistance of the School Suspension Intervention Program, made sure that their child was able to get back on the right path.
We don't get a lot of people who are our students who are not satisfied. Parents, the major issue for parents though is that they wish their children could come back to the program after their suspension period has ended.
For some parents, they too bear the burden of a child often caught in the unfortunate situation of school suspension. But those who've opted to make use of the Dispute Resolution Foundation School Suspension Intervention Program have seen some incredible responses. Take, for example, Garfield here.
My name is Garfield Warner. My daughter gets introduced to the School Suspension Intervention Program. Why sending daughter to school, daughter going out good and thing, and after she's reaching a 9-10 grade to start for a company, then after that everything just start go down a different road. You understand? We have to step in as a daddy and make sure it's everything alright with her. So now we get introduced to the program.
God sent. It's a God-sent program. That's what we tend to get from our parents. And they too, whenever they're having any issues at all, it could be with their colleagues, they are calling to access the program. We actually have programs for our parents, such as the parent sensitization, so they too benefit from this service that we offer.
After being a part of the program, the first half she was skylarking. After the program and such, then she step up. She left school with a couple of subjects and things. I would encourage other parents to send them children to the program. Things start from a tender age, and all things going right now, everybody smaller is exposed to everything. It come in the movie, it come in the songs. It come around the communities. So, which that program is a good program.
So, if as a parent or guardian Garfield's story sounds anything like yours, then
feel free to reach out to the Dispute Resolution Foundation. We can provide that listening ear. We will also advise you and make referrals where necessary. Parents, feel free to reach out to us if you feel overwhelmed as well, because we know raising children, we don't get a manual to do that. So it's a bit tedious and we learn as we go. So let us help each other. Feel free to reach out to us and we will do our best to assist you. Parents, if you have children at home and you are noticing any maladaptive behavior, they are not listening to you, they're not talking as much, eating as much, any form of abnormal behavior, and I mean behavior that you don't normally see them with, do not be afraid to reach out to the Dispute Resolution Foundation.
for the School Suspension Intervention Program, the numbers supported are high, the commitment remains steadfast, and the tools are available and always ready to assist, even for parents.
My hope for the program is really the end goal is to see a peaceful culture. So I want improved communities and improved livelihoods for our students. That is what I hope to see, and I hope that will be impactful for years to come so that this can be achieved in the end. That is the mandate of the Dispute Resolution Foundation. Well, first of all, we have to have a referral. The referral may come from educational institutions. It may also come from, let us say, the family court or CPFSA.
After the referral is made, an intake session is done, followed by a one-on-one session, then a psychoeducational group session, and another one-on-one session. A post-assessment is then conducted to help put together a release letter with an opportunity to refer students to another external agency where necessary. And then, follow-up sessions are conducted.
This is a program that gives you and your child a second chance. Take us up on this offer.
For further information, visit the Dispute Resolution Foundation's website at www.drfja.org or contact them at 876-906-2456 or 876-908-3657, or you can send them an email at drf@drfja.org. Did you know that you can apply for a copy of your birth certificate online or by visiting any of the Registrar General's Department offices listed on their website? For ease of processing, there are several things you need to know about the person or child whose birth certificate you are applying for. Here's a checklist. Ensure you know the correct name and spelling of the person, as well as their mother and father. You will need their date and place of birth, which is usually the name of the hospital or location they were born. Parish of birth is also important. Find out also the birth entry number along with the date and place of registration for the adult or child. Remember, for additional information on how you can apply for a copy of your birth certificate or someone else's, contact the Registrar General's Department today.
Children should grow up in families that support, understand, and demonstrate love towards them. As we observe Global Day of Parents, if you need some support in getting the job done right, then here it is.
Wouldn't it be great if children came into the world so well adjusted or with manuals, therefore eliminating the need for parental discipline? This is not the case, however. Parents usually apply their methods or they depend on strategies taught throughout generations to guide their children.
8 in 10 Jamaican children in the 2 to 14 years age group experience violence as a form of discipline.
Coercive parenting involves the physical administration of pain as punishment. It also includes the use of harsh language that has the potential to hurt children's feelings and affect their general self-esteem and development. It also fosters aggression, because what you're really teaching children is that when there is an issue, we must resolve the issue through harshness, through aggression, through coarse language. There's a direct correlation between coercive parenting and the aggression that we see actually in society.
Damaging disciplinary practices have moved outside of the home and into the national consciousness. Children need guidance, and many wonder if not with the rod, then how? Enter the National Parenting Support Commission (NPSC), an agency of the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information. The ministry established the commission in 2012 to provide parents with the requisite skills and tools to raise children.
We work at 3 tiers. We work at home, school, and community. Our first and most important priority, however, is to ensure that we're fostering the home-school relationship. We must ensure that parents as key stakeholders feel involved in the entire process of educating their children.
Now, to do this, the Commission assists parents in several ways, including providing psychosocial support, assisting parents with understanding the teaching-learning process, and conducting parenting education programs.
Through our effective parenting courses, we push proactive strategies. In other words, you are going to put structures in place before behaviors that you don't desire actually show.
Parents and guardians should consider the child's developmental stage when determining the best method of guidance.
A child who is very young, we encourage play. The child must be playing, and even the teaching learning processes must include play, because this is how they develop their imagination, their creative skills. This is how they also learn to resolve issues and to problem solve.
Young children, especially infants, are at the stage where they don't know right from wrong, and they can be impulsive. They may touch items that are valuable or dangerous. Usually, it is best to remove the child or the object from such a situation.
We don't believe you're to spank any at all, because that's a part of coercive parenting, and we don't believe that coercive parenting works. So what we encourage you to do, though, is to be firm and to be consistent. So if it means you have to say, do this instead, or do not go there a million times, then that's what you have to be prepared to do.
The teenage years can challenge both children and parents. With the physical and chemical changes happening in the body, teens may act out as they may be unsure of their place in the world.
This can be a very difficult time to navigate. So we ask that you start relaxing some of the very stringent rules, and you also have conversations and you compromise.
And to address challenges, caregivers can remove privileges.
If the child becomes stubborn, has
a fixed mindset, if you will, that this is what he or she is going to continue to do, then you might need professional help. You might need to call the commission, or you might need to call a social worker or a guidance counselor to help.
Being a proactive parent means setting clear boundaries, letting children know what is acceptable behaviors and why rules are in place. And don't forget to model behaviors you want young ones to display. There may not be a one-size-fits-all for raising children. By assessing the right information and using effective parenting techniques, we can nurture adults willing to play their part in making Jamaica the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business. To tap into information from the National Parenting Support Commission, call 876-967-7977 or visit their offices at 37 Arnold Road, Kingston 6.
Had you met us earlier, as in the beginning, then you would have heard that it is Global Day of Parents. Here at the GIS, we appreciate the efforts of those parents who help in shaping a better tomorrow through their child-rearing skills. As we continue along the vein of today's discourse, our Hear This is about just why a parent-child relationship is so important. Children who have a healthy relationship with their parents are more likely to develop positive relationships with other people and secure friendships with their peers. A strong connection with parents helps in promoting a child's emotional, cognitive, and social development. These children tend to be better at controlling their emotions when faced with difficult situations. The healthy involvement of parents helps in ensuring that their children can perform better academically, and children who have a positive relationship with their parents learn essential skills and values that can help them to have successful futures. Let's help to create healthy and stable homes. That way, we are undoubtedly helping the country in achieving its 2030 vision of making Jamaica the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business.
Jamaicans consume on average 9 to 12 grams of sodium or salt per day, twice the World Health Organization recommended amount of less than 5 grams or 1 teaspoon of salt, and more ideally, less than 2 grams of sodium per adult per day from all food sources. This excess salt in the diet causes high blood pressure, kidney and bone damage, gastric cancer, obesity, and worsening of asthma. Reduce the amount of salt you consume to no more than 3 to 5 grams, or half to 1 teaspoon per day for adults, and less than 2 grams for children under 11 years of age. Let's shake the salt habit and live healthy. A public service message from the Jamaica Information Service.
This is as much time as we have for today, but just before we leave, remember that the family remains the backbone of societies right across the world. So however your family may be formed or shaped, passing on the right values to children should always be a part of it. Thanks for staying with us on today's journey, as we are always keeping you in the know. A fresh magazine will be here for your viewing tomorrow. Until then, watch yesterday's and other shows on our YouTube channel and visit the GIS's Facebook, Instagram and Twitter pages for more information. From all of us here at the GIS, I'm Adrian Atkinson. See you soon.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.